So this is a PSA for one of the most annoying things about dwelling in a van. I don't think it's ever talked about much. I mean, I've seen a few videos on it, but not a lot. And it's getting freaking water. Like, everybody is focused on, like, having sinks and how big their tanks is and all of that other stuff. But the point is, at the end of the day, you still have to get water. So anything you're putting water in, well, in most cases, you're going to have to be able to remove it from the vehicle. Now, this thing weighs almost nothing when it's empty. When it's full, it's around like 50 some pounds, and I have to lift it up to place it again. So, like, taking it down once it's empty is not a big deal. Putting it back once it's full, it's going to take both of my hands, so I'm not going to show myself doing it. And it's just really, really heavy. Now, to supplement my situation, and I've gone through a lot of sort of things in this process. So I have my regular like 7-gallon jug, but I also have 3 of these that I fill up. They're easy to carry. If I need to get water really, really quickly, I'll usually grab one of these instead of this, because this is just really heavy once it's full. And so having 3 of these gives me some easy to carry things where I can just fill it up with a gallon of water and get by for a little bit. And sometimes I'll use up these first just because they're easier to move and carry than this once it's full. But this is also easier to use in the van because these are kind of like stored in corners. So it's a little more work to like pull and dig them out. Whereas this, I have it set up so it's just like a little speak-it system. So it's a little easier to use sometimes. So yeah, I play it by ear. It changes up from day to day. But if you're thinking about just sort of living in a vehicle, and if you want to shower, and if you want to sink, and if you don't, just know that like getting water is a chore. And unlike laundromats and so many other things, like you can look those up. Like if you need to wash your clothes, it's really easy. You just go on Google and you search for laundromat. You may or may not be able to find water dispensers that way. I just filled up my water in Safeway, which is like right behind me right now. And sometimes at 7-Elevens or Rite Aids or places like that, I'll accidentally see like a water dispenser out front. A lot of times, like if I see it and it's a good price, because out in Arizona, this was 40 cents a gallon. Out in Arizona, I was finding it like 25, 30 cents a gallon. Of course, California is going to be a little bit more expensive, but like every once in a while, I might just replace one of my bottles and buy a gallon of water. I can get them at the dollar store for $1. Sometimes they're a couple of bucks for a gallon at like a Target or Walmart or something like that. Sometimes they're also $1. But if you can find the water dispenser machines, they're always cheaper. Obviously, if you can get it from a friend, that's great. If you build something that's more RV-like, then you'll have a tank in your rig that you can refill, but you still have to think about that, and it's a task. So this is just a random quick video to just say it's a thing. It's one of the more annoying things about van life, and like I just don't think it gets talked about a lot. Which is weird, because it's like all the stuff that comes up that people bring up normally, I'm like, that's not that big of a deal. But this is kind of annoying sometimes. And it can be a pain. And there's been times where I was like really low on water and I wasn't quite sure where I was going to get a refill from. And like you have some sort of go-to places where you maybe find water, but what I've learned is if I see it and there's something I can refill and just give myself a little buffer, that's probably the smartest thing I can do. I think that's all I got for this video. See you later, YouTube.